up, everybody? How's it going? Is there a code for the mystery crate? Let's check on that. I don't think there is a code for the mystery crate. Where did you get this code, Joe? Oh, I think that was sent last Friday. I don't think that code is active anymore. But tell you what, Joe, just for you and you only, since you brought it up, if you want to buy a spot, I'll give you the $100 off that mystery crate spot. Everyone else, sorry, you're too late. Yeah, so if you buy a full spot, I'll just be easiest if we can just refund. I'll just refund the 100 back to your account, your payment method, if that's okay. All right, let's go through some orders here. Let's see what we got. All right, Josh just picked up Origins 5 Raiders. Josh picks up 3 spots in the mystery crate filler. Josh picks up 14 spots in the mystery crate filler. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and sells it out. All right, we're chipping away at it. We'll post the next one right now. Let me post another one. Nice, thanks, Joe. Not too many orders, so let me just fly through these and we'll take care of your spot here. All right, Kevin gets the Giants. Big team off the board in Tier 1, 1 and 2. We're gonna need some help there, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of teams still left. Got to get at least one case in the books tonight. There you go, Monty gets the Pirates in Tier 1, 2. I think they're still available in number 1. Daniel gets the Reds in number 1. Daniel gets the Reds in number 2. It's Tier 1, 2. And there's Joe's full spot in the crate. And let's take care of that. Because I don't think anyone used that promo code, to be honest with you. No, only one person took advantage of it. All right, so you should see your, you should see that back to your payment method, Joe. All right, now, the mystery crate is inching closer and closer, which is good news. There's the next one up there. If we can get a couple more full spots off the board, right, we can even cancel some fillers. But right now we're looking at 2 full spots and 2 more fillers. Could be 0 full spots and 4 fillers. Or it could just be 1 more filler and 4 or 5 full spots. So we can pivot to whatever direction, however you want to do it. Whatever is going to help this move a little more quickly is how we're going to do it. And the sooner we knock this out, the sooner we can maybe get another, we can have Nick scour our stock of stuff and see if we can create another mystery crate for you guys. No, there was, but not anymore. If you had signed up for your text messages, James, then you would have known there was a code for the mystery crate. So make sure you subscribe to those, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now the big thing for me today is trying to get this tier 1 across the finish line. If we can get this a little bit closer to single digits, then we can definitely think about getting a random number block done. I think with just how many teams are remaining and some of the bigger teams remaining, I feel like if we do some sort of random number block, it's going to be a little pricey. It might not move very quickly. So if we can get some help with people getting like the sub $100 teams, Diamondbacks, White Sox, Guardians, Rockies, right? Those 4 teams, let's start there. Everything else is over $100 after that. But if we can get at least those 4 teams going, we'd be exactly halfway there. At that point, we might get some medium rollers rolling. Maybe get the $150 Cubs, $130 Tigers, $150 Royals, $150 Angels, $130 Brewers, $120 Twins, right? $130 Phillies, $130 Cardinals. And that cuts that number in half. And then that leaves like the $500 Dodgers, $450 Nationals, a couple $200 teams that are still sitting there. At that point, we might be able to bundle up those remaining teams into a random number block. Might move a little more quickly that way. But we can't get to the last spot until we get to the next spot, so help us out. Let's do it. We got to do at least a case tonight on new release day. All right, let me do a couple extra things before we get that first blaster box started. Let's let people know that we are in the air everywhere. Let's break some Tier 1 baseball tonight. And as always, if you want to help us out in a different way, you can always follow us on X. Share that post with your friends and followers. All right, let me go grab that blaster box and that'll be our first little activity of the day. In the meantime, grab your spots. Grab your teams. Grab more Tier 1. Let's get this set up here. Try to get a little bat signal out there for Tier 1. I'd love to get some of that going tonight. A lot of hits in there, a lot of big hit potential. Tier 1, I feel like, is generally a fairly popular release. I think a lot of times you see them in like baseball repack product, stuff like that. So it's always a fun one to do. All right, blaster box. Hi everybody, Joe for JaspysCaseBreaks.com coming at you with a 2024 Topps Chrome Football Blaster Box break. Number 24, with one mystery crate spot being given away, one big mystery crate spot being given away. It's a pricey one this time around. And we're giving away 5 spots within the blaster box itself. All right, so let's get to it. Big thanks to this group for making it happen. We only sold 27 spots outright. Top 5 after 10 are gonna get extra spots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So top 5, Alan, Nicholas, Thomas, Josh, and Alan. Extra spots going your way. So a little buy one, get one opportunity. This could be helpful when we do the mystery crate randomizer. Now let's gather everybody's names. Let's do the break itself. All 32 teams are in. Let's roll it, randomize it. 6 and a 5, 11 times each. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Let's put all your names here after 11, and then 6 and a 5, 11 times for the teams. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, there's the first half of the list right there, and the second half right over here. No trade windows and filler breaks. Let's just get to it. Now, this mystery crate, as I mentioned before, is a big one. It's a 14-item mystery crate, and pretty pricey per spot as well. So I think we got to work through a lot of these fillers. So, which we have been. That's the encouraging sign. People are into it. So keep getting into it until we're done. We've got a good chance of getting this done tonight if you want to. All right, thanks everybody. All right, let's see if we have any surprises in this blaster box here. Spencer Rattler, QB1, looked okay, week 1, right? If he plays well early in the season, that could be a good one there. That's going to go to Allen and the Saints. Here's Theo Johnson to $3.99. Here's Caleb Williams. I feel like started off that game hot and then cooled off in the second half. J.J. McCarthy was almost the opposite, right? It was cold the first half and then just went off in the fourth quarter. But this will go to Allen and the Bears. Allen getting a couple quarterbacks there. Theo Johnson's going to go to Nicholas and the Giants. Bill Bates. All right. Got a few things there. All right, now let's flip screen. Now, here's the big moment here. Who is going to win their way into the mystery crate? Let's gather everybody's names, 1 through 32, third and final dice roll. Just one winner, name on top after 9, 6 and a 3. Good luck. Fingers crossed, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9th and final time. Now, obviously, a ton of sad faces here. 2 through 32 sad times. Very close, Alan. Not quite, but appreciate everybody giving this a shot. Only the name on top can get in, and that's going to be Josh. There you go, Josh. Josh definitely had the odds on his side. Thanks. That's a big risk, Josh, considering there's only one giveaway, but it paid off this time. Thank you. We'll see you in that mystery crate maybe a little bit later tonight. JaspysCaseBreaks.com. Bye. All right, Rex, what's going on? Congrats, Josh. You're welcome, Josh. That whenever people do that, it always makes me so nervous. Only a one-spot giveaway, but it worked out this time. Yeah, I should be on that. And yeah, it's a thrill of the chase. That's why we do this, folks. You know, get the blood pumping, get the adrenaline going. Wait, what was the bad news today? Is there some? Yeah, I mean, I guess he spent the better part of his, he spent the better, the majority of his career with the Cubs. They still gave him the opportunity to play baseball, and they drafted him. They drafted him, right? No, they traded for him, but they gave him the opportunity to be a big leaguer. So maybe they made some amends once Rizzo realized no one else was gonna. Usually, players don't retire; the league retires them. So once Rizzo realized he's not gonna get a job anywhere, he's like, well, I guess we'll just hang it up. I think the ambassador thing is just what, every retired player gets, I think. It's like, yeah, Rizzo will come back to this, we'll just do stuff for the Cubs. He'll show up at charity events, he'll show up at games, he'll do a take me out to the ball game, he'll do a 7th inning stretch. What most retired players do for their former teams. Yeah, I mean, well, when I looked at it, I was kind of like, why is he doing it now? What's my thing? And I was like, what an attention whore, right? Cubs are in the middle of a playoff race, trying to make it into the playoffs. And Anthony Rizzo's like, you know what? I'm going to make it about me. Like he couldn't have done this in the off season? I just thought that bit was hilarious. It's like, who cares? Like, he hasn't played the entire season. It's not like he was playing and then he had a career-ending injury and then he's like, yeah, I'm not going to come back from this, so I'm going to call it a day. It's not like it was that. No one's talked about it all season long. No one was, he wasn't even rumored to be like attached to a team or being picked up by a team. Even after like the Red Sox lost their first baseman, it's not like they were clamoring for Anthony Rizzo, you know what I mean? So I was just kind of like, could have done this in November. Could have done this before spring training. Everything's feel good during spring training. I would even have Anthony Rizzo rove around as a roving coach, spring training, get the whole attention there, sign the one-day contract, end his career as a Cub, that kind of thing. But early September in the middle of a playoff race. All right, so once again, 19 teams left in the brand new Topps Tier 1 baseball. And it looks like they have a checklist loaded up as well. So we'll take a look at that together in a moment, but do your own research, grab some teams, let's get something going here. We haven't seen an order since Joe placed an order about 30 minutes ago. So we're gonna need some people. If we can get this closer to single digits, I could bundle the remaining teams into a random number lock. Right now, 19 teams is a little too much. I want to try to get that a little bit closer to 10, if not into single digits. Yeah, that was some crazy news earlier today. You know, Charlie Kirk is not my guy, but I don't endorse any kind of like political violence. That doesn't lead to anything good for either side. So very disappointing. Yeah, that's usually things we don't like to bring up. That doesn't get people interested in getting into Tier 1 baseball, which is our main goal here. But I didn't understand your statement. You were like, with all the bad news today, it was surprising to see Rizzo retire. How are those two related? I think you could have just led with Rizzo retiring. Surprising to see that is that good news, Rizzo retiring? Are you implying there was more bad news? All right, gang, so we've got most of the league. 19 teams are here for Tier 1 baseball. Here's the checklist for Tier 1 baseball. Anybody want me to go through the checklist for you? Because I can do that for you. I got it. I got the checklist handy. Diamondbacks, Cubs, White Sox, Guardians, Rockies, Tigers, Royals, Angels, Dodgers, Brewers, Twins, Mets, A's, Phillies, Pirates, Padres, Cardinals, Rangers, and Nationals. I guess I can give you some examples, right? We'll start with, if you're like, so the cheapest team right now are the $50 Rockies. So let's see why they're $50. Checklist probably isn't very big relative to the other teams. But we got some breakout autographs. Brenton Doyle's in the mix. We got some prodigious patches, Larry Walker. We've got more Brenton Doyle, Drew Romo. Tier 1 jumbo relics, Jordan Beck, Chris Bryant, Larry Walker. City Connect signatures, Ezekiel Tovar. Dual autographs, Larry Walker, Chris Bryant, more Ezekiel Tovar. Prodigious patches, Nolan Jones. Remember, some of those can be one of ones, low numbers, maybe even bat knobs, bat barrels are possible as well. There's a Chris Bryant bat knob. Limited lumber, Chris Bryant, more Larry Walker. Listen, if you're a Larry Walker fan, or you like some of those youngsters on like Brenton Doyle on the Rockies, Nolan Jones, $50 is not bad at all. That's a decent checklist for $50. Tigers are $130, Austin. Let's see what you can get for your Tigers. What the hell's going on in that Tigers front office? A lot of accusations flying around there. You got some rookie cards, right? Dylan Dingler, Jace Young, Jackson Jobe, Justin Henry Malloy. You've got Tier 2 autographs, Tarek Skubal. More Jace Young, Justin Henry Malloy autographs, breakout autographs. Same crew. You don't want Trey Sweeney, but here's Ty Madden in the mix here. Prince Fielder, Tier 1 autographed Tier 1 relics. Prince Fielder, Torrey Hunter. Tier 1 jumbo relics, Colt Keith, Tarek Skubal. Cut auto possibilities. Those are really cool. Al Kaline and Hammer and Hank Greenberg. Hal Newhouser as well. These are cut signatures with relics, and this is just a cut signature, no relic. Gripping relics, Riley Green, I don't know what that is. Maybe glove, perhaps? Bat knob sticker autos, Colt Keith. Prime performer autographs, Alan Trammell, Tarek Skubal, Victor Martinez. Rookie relics, Jace Young. Colt Keith autograph bat knobs. Pudge is in there, autographs. Hank Greenberg bat knob? Whoa. That would be pretty cool. Riley Green as a bat knob as well. Javier Baez, Riley Green, limited lumber. Colt Keith, Prince Fielder, limited lumber. Tier 2, I guess. I guess there's different rarity tiers. More relics. Colt Keith, Parker Meadows, Spencer Torkelson. I guess there's relic die cuts in this. Colt Keith, Riley Green. Triple relics, Javier Baez, Riley Green. Top shelf relics, Kaline and Greenberg. And top shelf signatures, V. Martin. Yeah, I mean, excuse me, I think a lot of, like, for example, Miguel Cabrera, a lot of people are, oh, I can't believe Miguel Cabrera is in it. A lot of times, it's not because Topps forgot. You know, I assure you, they asked someone like Miguel Cabrera if he wants to be in here. But, you know, players have different priorities in their lives after they're retired. So a lot of times they'll just be like, I don't feel like it. Or they're like, yeah, but I need X amount of money to do it. And, you know, there's budgets for all of these things. So sometimes he's not in here as a Marlin, right? No, he's not. But yeah, sometimes some players just don't want to do it, you know? Because I think I talked to, this is a little while ago, policies may have changed, but a number of years ago, ran into some Topps people that were on the product development teams, and I was like, so how does this work? Our guys are like, oh, I can't believe Christian Yelich isn't on the Brewers, you know, no autographs in this set, bunch of idiots, you know, Topps are a bunch of idiots. But they're like, no, he's like, of course we want Christian Yelich in these sets, of course we want Miguel Cabrera. You don't think we're asking those guys? You know? Either they're asking too much, either they don't, it's usually they don't want to do it. They don't feel like signing 1,000 cards, you know? Or just the money doesn't work out for them. They require X amount of dollars for it to be worth it for them. And sometimes Topps are like, yeah, you know what, that's not in our budget this year. Maybe we'll try to get more Jackson Chourio autographs in here, some other players' autographs in there, you know? So sometimes it's a budget thing as well. All right, so that was the Tigers at 130. That's kind of a mid-range team, right? That's a good example of a mid-range team. You know, anywhere between like $90 and $150, I would consider a mid-range team. Some of the bigger teams, like the Pirates, are $200, right? Pirates, of course, Nick York breakout autographs. Brian Hayes, Paul Skeens still has autographs in here. Clearly perfect autographs of Paul Skeens. What about a Roberto Clemente cut auto relic? See, that's the thing with Tier 1. A lot of sets don't have cut autos. Tier 1 does. Honus Wagner, Roberto Clemente, Ralph Kiner. I mean, on a new release day, this is the best time to try to chase after those cut autos. As time goes on, more and more of those will get pulled. Right? More Skeens, a lot of Skeens here. Brian Reynolds, McCutchen bat knobs would be pretty sick. You know, looks like there's autographed bat knobs and non-auto bat knobs for Andrew McCutchen. You know, so a lot of Paul Skeens, some Jared Jones, right? Henry Davis relics, Nick Gonzalez relics, top shelf relics, Roberto Clemente. Remember, those can also be low numbered as well. You can find one of ones of those as well. So that's the Pirates right there. You know, and then you get to, like, you know, the top level teams like the Dodgers. You know, they have a combination of players people want to chase, and they probably have a big checklist, right? Koufax doesn't sign too often. You get Koufax autographs. Kershaw autographs. Kershaw definitely doesn't sign too often, but he did for Tier 1. Edgardo Enriquez, Hae-Sung Kim, River Ryan, Roki Sasaki, right? They always have a big rookie right there, Roki Sasaki, who had a really nice rehab start recently. He's been kind of struggling, but I think the last couple have been really good. I think he touched 100 on the gun, so it's good to see the velocity go up. And high 90s is where he usually sits. So I think it's good to see the velocity tick up on the gun. He's kind of been battling a shoulder issue. And I think that slider is looking sharp. So that might be enough for maybe some bullpen help. You know, if he gets a third pitch going, that might be good for some starts as well. And we'll see what Roki can provide for the remainder of the season and maybe the playoffs. Probably the playoffs. If he's looking good in his appearances, they're going to want that arm in the bullpen, maybe piggyback off of a, you know, I think Roki he's a righty, right? Yeah, he's a righty. So, like, that could be, I don't know, you get Kershaw to go 3 or 4 innings, you get Roki to go 3 or 4 innings, and then you just have to find your 2 best bullpen guys at the end of the game. You know, and there's your ball game. Autographed dual relic bat cards. Gary Sheffield and Adrian Beltre. That would be a great dual auto. Prodigious patches. Kershaw, Chase Utley, Gary Sheffield. Tier 1 relics. Freddie Freeman, Sheffield, Piazza. Autographed Tier 1 relics. Max Muncy, Will Smith. Clearly perfect autographs. Gary Sheffield. Cut autos. The Big D. Don Drysdale. That'd be awesome. Right. More dual stuff. Muncy, Smith dual relic. Dual autos, right? Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto. Dual player relics, right? Freeman and Betts, Ohtani, Kershaw. Trey Turner's in there too. So is Mookie Betts. More Adrian Beltre. 4 different bat knob opportunities, autographed bat knob opportunities. Albert Pujols, Freddie Freeman, Steve Garvey, Shohei Ohtani. Right? Chino Park's in this too. Nice. So you can see how big the checklist is, and you know, all the big names are in there. Even Eric Gagne, Nomar Garciaparra autographs, Sean Green autographs, right? Look at all these cut auto possibilities here. You know, Burley Grimes from the old Brooklyn Robins, Gil Hodges, Duke Snider, Preacher Rowe, Pee Wee Reese, Roy Campanella. You can already see how gigantic the checklist is, and you know, you've got the added spice of the cut auto possibilities. So that's kind of what we're looking at, from like the $50, you know, Rockies to the $130 Tigers to the $500 Dodgers. And so you can kind of assume that the other teams, like the $150 Royals, there's always something in between there. So give it a shot. Someone grab some teams. I don't think we're going to be thinking about a filler until we get that closer to single digits. It's brand new release day. You know, let's show some love to Tier 1 baseball. 19 teams left. We can't get to the last spot until we get to the next spot. Now, I know everyone's like, I'll get a spot if someone else gets a spot. Listen, we need someone to just get a spot now. If we want to get a chance at getting a case done tonight, we got to start putting in the work. So who wants to get us started? It could be, listen, it doesn't have to be the $500, it'll help, but it doesn't have to be the $500 Dodgers. You know, what about the $50 Rockies? What about the $70 White Sox? You know, we can help get the random number block be a little less expensive. I'm going to start pricing that out. Maybe at worst, maybe we can do 2 different random number blocks, and maybe that'll move the needle for some people. But if you want to help that, because any team that you take will help the filler be less expensive. Whether we do multiple fillers or not, it'll just help it be less expensive. And if it's less expensive, we should be able to move it a little bit more quickly. And that's the whole name of the game. Or what if I do one giant number block and do a filler for the random? No, we did that with a different product last time. Or should we do 2 different random number blocks? maybe we'll use... I'm not using any of those blaster boxes, right? Maybe we'll use that blaster box too. That bat knob would be, that Charizard bat knob would be pretty awesome. I think the rays are already gone, right? Rays are still available in break 2. All right, so I'll give everybody another, I don't know, I want to try to get this filler's kind of expensive, but I think I've got a way to try to, I think there's going to be a filler for the random number block. But if you want to help that be a little less expensive, you can help out by grabbing a team or 2 or 3. If we can get that a little bit closer to halfway there or even closer to single digits, I'll feel like the filler that we'll build for it will go very quickly. Maybe we can avoid a filler for the filler. So my current thought is just creating one giant 19-team random number block, but backing out some spots there and adding some full spots back in, or giving away some of those spots in a different filler. So that's the plan right now, but we can adjust those plans, make it streamline that even more if we can get some people to grab some teams right now. I'll give it to the bottom of the hour. So link is in the chat. Help us out. Get that warm and fuzzy feeling of getting the filler to be a little less expensive. And I feel like once we see our first case pop open, I feel like maybe the next one will go twice as fast because people will get a visual look at it. All right? In fact, I don't think the design has changed too much from last year, so let's see if we can get some. I'm gonna fire up a video of last year's Tier 1 baseball. Did we do any full case breaks of that last year? So there's Jason at our old shop doing some Tier 1. So again, this is last year's Tier 1, but that'll give you an idea of, give you a little refresher on what Tier 1 looks like if you've forgotten, and you can kind of remember how nice this stuff looks. That's true, yeah, we can have a meeting there. So yeah, so this gives you an idea. I gotta duck into a quick little team meeting that we're having. But so after I come back, we're gonna pop that tier 1 into a random number block. But any team that gets snapped, there you go, thank you, Austin. Any team that gets snapped up, like Austin just did with the Tigers in tier 1, number 1, every bit helps. Thanks, everybody. Be right back. Okay. Back from the meeting, anyone else helping us out with tier 1? No. So here's what we got going on for tier 1. Maybe this will help move the needle for some people here. I put the remaining teams, the remaining 18 teams into one giant random number block. It's a big price point, but it features 18 teams, so keep that in mind. So 350 divided by 18, that's about 19 bucks a team if you want to think about it that way. You get a serial number for over half the break. There's the full list of teams right there. Sells it out. I feel like some people are going to see some value there. Now, there's also ways to win your way into that. So this blaster box, if you're like, man, 350, I understand the value, but that's a crazy price point for me. You can try to win your way in. For only $40, right? You can try to win, well, you can get an extra blaster box spot. Then with the extra blaster box spot, you can try to win, I guess you could technically win 2 of the 3 tier 1 random number block spots that were given away. So we're only selling 25 of the 30 spots outright. So there's the random number block for tier 1. And there is a filler for the filler for the random number block. So those 2 layers will get us to Breaksville. Which I think is a pretty good deal. So who wants to get us started on that? I feel like someone's going to see value in that. Once we get a few spots going, I feel like that'll get the people going. So someone help us out by starting us out. On either one, doesn't matter. You can get a big random number block spot, or you can get a filler for the random number block. Ultimately, these 2 things, a couple of these boxes, 4 full spots, sells out tier 1. And we can see our first case of the day, which would be awesome. Brand new release, just dropped today. All right, I got the case right here ready to go. So, pretty easy. We got to do a couple of these blaster boxes, sell out some full spots in this tier 1, and then we're in Breaksville. All right, again, anyone who wanted to get us started on the tier 1 filler, there's a filler for the filler. But we got some sweeteners here. We got, we're only selling 25 of the 30 spots outright. So 5 blaster box spot giveaways. So buy a spot, you got a chance at an extra blaster box spot, giving you better odds at getting some of those random number block spots. You can get a handful of people to get a spot each. Then that ultimately sells out our first case of tier 1 baseball. There it is right there. So a couple of these blaster boxes sells that out. Now if we end up running through random team 11 and 12 and those 4 spots are still sitting there, I could take another 3 spots out and create another filler for it. Or conversely, if these 4 spots sell out pretty quickly, I could cancel that filler, add 3 more spots back in, and then random team 11 would become the last filler. So that's an option as well. So, brand new release day. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Someone get us going. Now, there's other non-new release stuff that we can do. Autograph footballs are a lot of fun. We can play a little trivia there. Origins football, half case, fresh case. We can work on some more of those mystery crate fillers. We can get some more full spots rolling in the mystery crate. We've got, that's a 5-box division. So usually we've been using those for fillers, but we reconfigured that as a 5-box random division break. And that's from a fresh case. It's Topps Chrome Baseball, Mega Edition, Fanatics Exclusive Edition. So not only Mega, but Fanatics Exclusive Mega. So we can work on that. We can keep working on boys this summer. Impeccable Baseball, let's keep chipping away at as well. That's another case of Finest Basketball. Breakers Delight Edition. We did one of those the other night. They were pretty cool. I'm gonna hold that. I guess no one wants that, huh? I rolled over that 10 blaster box spot giveaway, and I've been answered with 0 spots sold there. So maybe I should We'll do it one more time. We'll try to do the 10 spot giveaway. Remember, so that means we're only selling 20 spots outright. 10 of you will get extra spots in the blaster box break. That'll give you better odds to get into Finest. Under Wraps autographed dual basketballs are also in the mix as well. Buy at least 2 teams for an entry to try to give away a basketball. Gave away a basketball last night. That was a lot of fun. And also Who Am I trivia opportunities there as well. We always love that. All right, speaking of autographed footballs, Robert just picked up a full spot there. Remember, 1 spot gets you 2. So that would be a fun one to do. Now listen, if we can get someone to get another full spot here, because we're planning on 2 fillers. So we got a couple options for this football. We got a run pass option here. We got an RPO here. We can go 1 full spot and 2 fillers, right? Or we can do 6 full spots and the current filler becomes the last filler, that Resurgence blaster box. You decide, you choose. Yeah, I would love to do that. We opened up a fresh case a number of days ago. I've got my cart right here, and they have the autographed footballs here, full-size autographed footballs. Those are it's always a lot of fun. A good excuse to play a little trivia. You can try to win your way in as well. The filler, I mean, that's only 14 bucks a spot to try to win a $70 spot. Remember, 1 spot gets you 2. It's only a 2 football break, but if you do the math, it's not that expensive. Yeah, basically, Robert, this is a 16 spot break, but we pulled 12 spots out already, and we're giving them away in these Resurgence blaster boxes. So maybe sometimes if I do it this way, it makes it a little bit more clear. So we got to do Resurgence blaster number 6 plus number 7. So plus 1 full spot, that sells out those autographed footballs. Now we also, for Robert and everybody else, we also can pivot either way. So there's already 6 spots reserved in that Resurgence 7 filler. Right? If that full spot were to sell out, I can cancel that filler and we can add 6 spots back in. That way we only have to do number 6 and 6 full spots. So if you click the break schedule, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to go to this spreadsheet right here, this Google Sheet, and you can scroll down a little bit. You can see what we've done, which is not much, I'll be honest with you. Hopefully we can get some more things going. You know, we have some filler information right here. You can see what we need to do to finally unlock Tier 1, what breaks we have left to unlock the mystery crate, right? And what we need to do to unlock that Under Wraps autographed football break. Remember, gang, we cannot get to the last spot until we get to the next spot. So hopefully we can get some help there and some help in the filler. And they're full-size footballs. You know, it's Fanatics, it's Under Wraps, super high quality break right there. Correct, Robert. As soon as we finish a break, we immediately upload it to our YouTube channel. And so we'll always, you know, put the date on there, the name of the break, and if you kind of click on it, you'll be able to see the break number, so you know which one's yours. And you can always check the break schedule. Let's say you check in later tonight, you can always check the break schedule, and you can and if we do end up doing it, you'll see, oh, they did it at that time. Go look for the video as well. Either way works. All right, so Robert's order was our first order in about 45 minutes. Who wants to get something else going? If you want to help out Robert, you know where to go, jaspyscasebreaks.com. If you want to go for the new releases, we got a filler for the random number block, which will ultimately fill up tier 1. The mystery crate is inching closer and closer. I only need 5 people to do that division break. That's something we can do right now, right? That's a pretty inexpensive filler. We're giving away 10 blaster box spots here as well. So there's a lot of great options on the website. A lot of teams still available in Impeccable and Boys of Summer. We can run another one of those back. Origins, half case, fresh case. Now since it's a new release date, my primary focus will be on tier 1 baseball. So there's the filler for the tier 1 random number block, and here's the random number block itself. And that's an 18 teamer. If you're wondering why the sticker price is so high, it involves 18 teams, over half the league, and some of the really nice teams as well, so the really pricey teams. So with that many teams, you know, one or two blocks of numbers could potentially yield you a lot of cards. Give it a shot. So that's this information right here. So blaster box 11 and 12 plus 4 full spots sells out tier 1. And that is sitting right here, right in front of our faces right here, ready to break when you are. So who wants to get us going? I really like that tier 1. Hopefully we can see a case tonight. And it's a full case too. It's not a third of the break, not a half case break. This is full case, all 12 boxes. Speaking of baseball, I think we've got some baseball in progress, right? I like this. What is this squeeze play thing we have going on here? That just appeared on my ESPN. Is this like red zone for... All right. I like that. All right, any finals? Yes, Angels beat the Twins 4-3. Diamondback beats the hot Giants 5-3. A's beat the Red Sox 5-4, and Rangers beat the Brewers 6-3. Games in progress. We've got top of the 7th pitching duel here. 3-hitter total. Pirates Orioles. Pirates leading 1-0. Is it a pitching duel or just bad hitting? No, Skeens was on the mound, and Tyler Wells is in the mix there. Guardians leading the Royals 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Top of the 6th, Nationals are leading the Marlins 3-0. Phillies ahead of the Mets 2-1 in the top of the 5th. Scoreless at the end of the third. Tigers, Yankees. I think that's on MLB Squeeze, or it was. I think Tarek Skubal's on the mound today. Astros leading the Blue Jays 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth, and Braves leading the Cubs 1-0 in the bottom of the third. And Rays ahead the White Sox 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Reds are in San Diego. Cardinals are in Seattle. The Rockies are here in LA. What do the Dodgers need to happen today? I think it's like we're getting closer to the middle of September. Daily standings watching is kind of happening now, right? I don't know if the Dodgers didn't catch the Phillies. The Dodgers might end up being in the wild card round, which is not ideal. But who knows? If the Phillies stumble a little bit, no Trey Turner, who's been having a hot season, no Zach Wheeler, and the Dodgers are facing the Phillies for a few games this week. So I think, or soon, I think that might be a pivotal moment there for the Dodgers. Dodgers have given the Padres every opportunity to catch up, but the Padres have not taken advantage of that. And the Dodgers look like they're turning a corner a little bit, so we'll see what happens tonight. And they've got a big. I mean, all the series are kind of big at this point. If you're trying to look for seeding, getting to an exciting part of the baseball season. We got another order from Robert. Nice. He grabs the Angels in Tier 1, number 2. Thank you, Robert. Now remember, Tier 1, number 1, we've bundled up into a filler. So I pulled the 18 teams out of Pick Your Team 1 and created a serial number style break. Right there. Now, I also pulled 6 spots out because we're giving them away in these blaster box spots. And I'm giving away blaster box spots as well. So we've got a lot of giving away here. So, quick example, let's say you buy one spot at 40 bucks, right? And once that gets to 0, you've got a chance to win one of the 5 blaster box spots that we're giving away. And technically you could win 2 of the 3 Tier 1 random number block spots for a fraction of the price. So for $40, you could end up with 2 spots. I mean, that's a really good deal, right? You could win $700 worth of spots for just 40 bucks. How awesome would that be? Someone give it a start. Once we get, it's just like a baseball pitching staff, right? We need our starters to get us halfway there. We need the middle relievers to get another chunk of spots, get us into single digits, get us close to the final 4 spots. And once we're around the final 4 or 5 spots, then we need our closer to shut the door on it. So let's do it. All right, so here's the filler for the random number block. And then here is the random number block itself, the 18 team random number block. I know it's a bigger price point. I know it's a heavier price point, but chance to win a big spot for a fraction of the price is pretty good. This is a big price point right here, but remember it features 18 teams. I know someone's going to see value in that and get it. All the cards are numbered, so that's going to be a good thing for the random number block. Again, I feel like all we need is just a few people, maybe someone get a full spot here, maybe someone get a couple filler spots there. Once we start that, I feel like we can really start building some momentum to get a case of Tier 1 done tonight. let's put a bat signal out there. Let's try to get the people going on this. So we're live now. We can break tonight. I want to break tonight. You know, we definitely have to. The AT team ran no post for the brand new Tier 1 baseball. Can win. Break tonight. All right. So I know it's a little complicated. There's like some layers that we have to work through to get there, but you know, that's how it has to go sometimes. You know, sometimes for a pricier product, we got to do a filler for the filler. But if we all work on it, if we all chip away at it, we can get it there. I know we can get it there. So help us get it there. I think Carson Kelly just hit a home run for the Cubs to tie it up. And I've got the blaster box and the case right there on the table. I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to it. I want to do it. I like that Tier 1. I'm looking forward to it. Supplies for this break. All right, boys and girls, if you're just joining us, welcome. Tier 1 Baseball, brand new release. Checklist in the chat too if you want to take a look at that. For Pick Your Team 1, I pulled the 18 teams that were just kind of sitting there, pulled them out, bundled them all up into a random number block randomizer. So it's a serial number style break right here for 18 teams, over half the league. I know that's a big sticker price, but I know there's going to be some people who are like, that's a great deal. They're going to grab a spot or two. Now, even if you know it's a great deal, I know that it is a big price point right there. You can win your way in for a fraction of the price. So in this blaster box, we're going to give away 3 of those random number block spots. $40 could help you win another $40 spot because we're giving away 5 blaster box spots. You could win 2 of the 3 random number block spots. So $40 could get you $700 worth of spots. Possible. Probabilities are a little long, but it's definitely possible. You never know. Got to give it a shot. All it takes is 1. So if someone could get us started on that, that would be awesome. So again, here's the filler for the random number block, and there's the random number block itself. That would also be, if someone could grab a spot or 2 there, that would also be helpful. So we're at the 20-minute mark, fast approaching the 30-minute mark. We've only done that Topps Chrome Football Blaster box today. I hope we can get some help with some of the other stuff today. Let's try to get that going. And listen, folks, word of mouth is a big thing. Definitely let the people know. Let your friends, let your family know that we're here, we're ready to break. You know, it may not seem, I mean, it's been pretty quiet in the chat. I don't think no one's really checked in since Robert about 20 minutes ago. But I see about, around 25 people browsing the website right now. So there are people around. There are people in the Torrance area, right? There's a few dots popping up in the South Bay, Long Beach, Northern California. We got some people outside of Corvallis checking in. Oklahoma, Dallas, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Chicago area, outside of Chicago. We got upstate New York. We got New York City. You know, so we've got a few dots in the Northeast as well, in the New England area. So people are browsing around. People are window shopping. We just need some people to grab some spots. That's all. You know, seal the deal on some spots. Clean up the site a little bit. And again, you hear me talk about momentum all the time, and I think momentum is key. Once we get a few people buying spots here and there, ideally that's going to inspire some other people to get spots here and there. Other people will get spots here and there. And then other people will check in on the website a little bit later, and they'll be like, oh my God, we've got spots moving here and there. That was a lot lower than when I checked in earlier today. That'll get people to buy spots. And then before you know it, we'll be in Breaksville. All right, nice. Justin is going to get the Bucks and Cavs in the autographed basketball break. We just loaded up another fresh dual case break last night. let's keep working on this one tonight. And like Justin just did, remember to buy an even number of teams so you'll have a chance at a sealed autograph basketball. Now Justin also grabs his third spot in the autograph football break. So now what I can do is I can cancel a filler and add 6 spots back in. And if we can just get one person to buy a spot, a full spot, then we can officially declare the current filler for this break. That we can officially declare it last filler. So, because then I can't pull out more spots for another filler. So if someone can get just one more full spot, I can declare it last filler. There it is. Who wants it? Help us out. There you go, nice. Ryan wants a little bit of everything. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan gets a full spot in the next finest basketball break, Breakers Delight. Gets a division in the Fanatics Mega break, joining Emma. Gets 2 in the Tier 1 Blaster, or that's the filler for the random number block, and gets 5 in the next Mystery Crate filler. Excellent. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan trying to breathe some life into these breaks here. So there's 22. So that's down to 22. And that's down to 23. So that's down to 23. And we can still use some help with the full random number block spots as well. And obviously go to the basketball section if you want to help us out with the basketball. I let that 10 blaster box spot giveaway, I let that roll over. I let that roll over, so take advantage of it. I don't think I'll roll it over again tonight. All right, so a little life here. Who wants to help out Ryan? Who wants to help out Justin? Who wants to help out Robert? They're the most recent orders. I'm ready to break. Help me out. Help each other out, more importantly. All right, who's next, ladies and gentlemen? Who is next? You know, as soon as someone gets an order, I hope you're ready to get an order as well, because that, if everyone piggybacks off of everyone's orders, you know, we'll definitely create a nice bit of momentum to get us to Breaksville. Breaksville, USA, my favorite place. Now, obviously, my focus, everybody, is going to be on the tier 1, trying to get that moving. But there's other stuff we can do too. That mystery crate is inching closer and closer. Right? And if we sell out Blaster Box 20,